Hi, this is Ray. You're probably gonna hear dogs barking in the background because I'm home, and my brother brought some chick over, so the dogs are going ballistic. But I was like, I gotta do video because it's been like, I think it's been like, um, 2 weeks since I was supposed to do it, but we've had like a break on the site, so I kind of was like, I could push it, but that's really not a good habit to get into. Anyway, this video's topic is actually binding, which I've actually talked about in several other personal videos, but I guess I'm going to talk about it more intricately this time. And I guess to start off, I actually have a total of 4 binders. I have 3 of the same type. Sorry for like flipping you off. So it's like 3 of the same type. Um, 2 of them are the same size. One of them is a couple sizes larger. So I wear extra small, and the other one I have is a medium. Then I have a fourth one, which is a different type, but it's a size medium as well. And the reason I have that is because when I go out in public, I wear the extra smalls because that's what binds the best. I actually do not have breathing problems with my small binders. So it's not a matter of like I can't breathe or I'm extremely uncomfortable or anything like that. To be honest, the first couple days you wear it, it feels like you can't breathe because you're like, oh my gosh, I'm not used to it. But I've actually been able to breathe and not have any major problems binding on a daily basis. And of course, there's a lot of um, hype. Well, not hype, but there's a lot of advice saying like stay away from extra small binders that are like constricting your breathing. Don't do that because in the long run it's going to damage things and then you're going to break a rib or something like that and then you can't bind. So kind of suffer for looking a little more chunky than looking completely flat. um don't use ace bandage or duct tape to bind. Just don't even wear a bra or second binder or anything like that because that's what restricts your breathing. um Honestly, in my experience, I'm not completely flat when I bind. Like, there's a little bit of a shelf. But the thing is how I bind and position my binding, it looks like pecs. Like, they look like pecs. And even if you hug me, you're like, pecs. But as it goes lower, that's when you can start seeing, like, you know, chest. But what I do is that I always wear an undershirt, and I always wear an overshirt, like a button down overshirt. Unfortunately for me, I actually sacrifice a lot of my physical appearance, meaning that I wear baggier clothing, and it makes me look heavier than I am, and I have really big shoulders compared to my torso, like my waist. So usually when I wear baggy clothes, it kind of looks like I'm a little bit of a heavier guy, and people look at my neck and they're like, "You're not a heavy guy." It's just more of I have really broad shoulders. So when I wear baggier shirts, they fit my shoulders, but then it like kind of goes into a tent as it goes down. But the only benefit in doing that is the fact that I can get away with looking like I have a flat chest because of the fact that the shirt will literally go straight down. Um, and that kind of works for me because a lot of appearance with men is that not all men have an extremely flat chest. You see men who are overweight that look like they have weight there. You also have very extremely muscular men who also have like a little bit of a bump there because they have pecs. So if you work out and you take care of yourself, if you build a lot of muscle in your shoulders and your arms, you can actually bind and get away with a little bit of like a bump there because like that guy's in shape. He's got pecs. You don't really have to worry about people like automatically looking at you and being like, oh my gosh, that's a girl dressed as a man. Because I'm actually a large-chested person, and I'm not only large-chested, but I'm also very slender. Like, I am skinny, but I also have a large chest. So binding, it kind of like, I bind, but then like, I got a thinner waist, so I still have like a bigger torso or chest. Um, so I've kind of been working on like working out and building a lot of muscle up here, so that this way it looks like I'm supposed to be top heavy. Um, like that's kind of my suggestion to everyone trying to find the secrets of binding, because the secrets of binding really is that like you gotta kind of sell the part. You know, you're not gonna be completely flat all the time. Sometimes it's not even safe to be completely flat, but you can make it workable and believable, still having rough evidence of a bump there, you know? You're not, especially those of you who are older, you are not a 10-year-old boy. Even older men are not 10-year-old boys, and they have a lot more meat on their torsos than someone who is younger. Um, but, you know, I suggest to people who are especially pre-testosterone and they have a harder time building muscle, you know, do a lot of powerlifting, do a lot of weightlifting, even if you do 10 push-ups every morning. Just try to work on building up a lot of upper body strength, because it helps proportionalize what's going on. Because you know, the more that you look masculine, because you know, men have a certain shape to them, and I actually am gonna agree with Dexter, because I watched his video. You know, men have this, you know, triangular shape, and like, you know, the broader your shoulders are, and even if you do go slightly in, you know, that's better. It's all about appearance up here and looking straight. Sometimes it's not even so much about having a chest or whatever. Um, I'm actually a big chested person, and before I even started testosterone and things started changing, um, I passed. And like, I think even before I actually bought an appropriate binder, I was wearing 2 sports bra, I still passed, because a lot of it had to do with how I portrayed myself, and pretty much right here. People look at the shoulders, you know, people look at your arms, they don't look, you know, they don't look at your chest and like, are those, you know, are those bumps, you know, boobs or whatever, like, you know, people don't really think about that. It's kind of amazing, unless you, like, put them out there, it's like, yeah, um, so, pretty much, I wear a tighter binder in public. I always wear a button down, because I can't wear a t-shirt, like, I can't wear a tight-fitting t-shirt without it actually, like, hugging and making it look like I actually do have boobs. So, I always wear a button-down shirt, because especially if you leave it open like right here, it actually helps it look a little bit flatter. But as I said, I sacrifice a lot of my appearing thinner, appearing fitter to look flatter. So I guess a lot of people might assume, you know, so like, you know, see, I wear very baggy shirts, but it fits like right here. And, you know, to turn to the side, you know, that's like a whole 2 inches. And see, even right here, it goes straight. Goes straight. So, okay, sorry about that. But yes, it appears flatter, which, yes, I sacrifice looking fit, because I actually do not have, like, I know you have a little bit of fat down there, but I'm actually in pretty good shape, because I work out a lot. So, sorry, I'm, like, trying to get comfortable here. A lot of it is pretty much, you know, I always wear button down so it looks flatter, and I'm actually very uncomfortable just wearing t-shirts because of that fact. So in the wintertime, I wear the flannels with rolled up sleeves. In the summertime, I just wear the short sleeves, you know, but as long as it's a button down and I can, you know, button it down and look like I got, you know, I'm flatter, I'm content that way. Unless, you know, I kind of just, I dedicate my wardrobe to that. Now, a lot of guys have issues with, binding, going to the gym, working out. What do I do? I'm a frequent working. I'm a frequent. I can't even talk. I frequently work out. So I, you know, I'm always like active. I actually do bike tours and stuff like that, where I bike 50 miles, and you know, it's an actual paid event and everything like that. But the thing about binding is, like, to be honest, I have extreme, like, going to the gym anxiety. I do not go to the gym. I have a personal gym. I have a treadmill, I have a pull-up bar, I have dumbbells, all that good stuff. I do everything I need to do at home. If I want to go out for a jog, I go out for a jog. Like, you know, I don't really put myself in an environment where people are going to judge me, that sort of thing. Not saying everyone's always going to judge you, but I don't put myself in an environment where I'm uncomfortable and I might not perform as efficiently as I would being in the company of people I'm uncomfortable with. So I've kind of invested some money on the side on top of, like, you know, getting my testosterone and everything like that to get a gym. So, you know, I have my own treadmill, I have my own pull-up bar, and I have my own dumbbells so I can work out. Um, so, not saying you all have to do that, because honestly not everyone could afford that, but there's a lot of alternatives that I found out as opposed to going to the gym. Because at first I actually couldn't afford it for a long time, like 16, when I was under 18. I could not afford it. I could not go to the gym. I couldn't even sign up for a gym on my own terms. My parents wouldn't pay for it, so I had to do a lot of working out by myself, figuring out alternatives. Um, the best thing for not building muscle but losing weight, because, you know, unfortunately, a lot of us as non-testosterone women have a lot of feminine fat. Our estrogen programs our bodies to put fat in certain places, you know, to prepare for childbirth and all that sort of stuff. And that's just how the estrogen directs, you know, fatty tissue and everything like that. Um, so, you know, the more that you actually work out, particularly cardio, I can't talk today. Particularly cardio, because, you know, that's what burns fat. That's the highest fat burner. The more you do that and keep in shape, you know, the easier it is to maintain a more masculine figure. And I'm really sorry about the barking. Like, she will not be quiet the entire time. Um, the more that you maintain a masculine figure, the easier it is to always pass and bind. And, like, you know, even when you're starting to get on testosterone, it's easier for your body to build muscle and look more masculine faster. Um, so, you know, plot out a place in your neighborhood. You know, go for a jog around your neighborhood. You know, pretty much they say that if you do 20 minutes 5 times a week, that's enough to be in shape. Personally, I do 40 minutes almost every day because I'm a little up the top. But, you know, if you just spend 20 minutes, like, actually going for a legitimate jog, that's fine enough. And, you know, you're in your neighborhood, you know, you might pass someone on the street, someone might be in the front yard or something like that, but if you're running and you just breeze by them, you don't have to talk to them. You're not in an enclosed environment with them. You can just keep going on your business and not give up. The reason I have two looser binders, they're they're 2 sizes bigger on me. They do flatten me, but, like, you know, it still actually looks like I have those. So pretty much it's a little bit tighter than probably a sports bra. Um, it doesn't restrict my breathing, but I wear a looser binder to work out. And it does actually hold things in place, but at the same time, it doesn't make me feel like I'm going to suffocate, pass out, and die. I wouldn't suggest double binding or even binding, like, working out ever, because honestly I tried that once and I almost passed out. It was really bad and I was like, I'm never doing this ever again, so I never did. I'm trying to think, but yeah, like, I have a weighted jump rope too. You could buy them at any sports store. You could probably even buy them at Walmart for like $30. Yeah, that's a lot, but it's actually an investment worth it. Jump rope outside in your backyard or in your front yard or in your driveway or whatever, where you're out of sight, out of mind. But that also burns a lot of calories and it's really good cardio. What I actually did for a while to substitute lifting weights was that I actually bought like a gallon of juice, and then, like, you know, of course I drank the juice, but then afterwards I would fill it up with water, like I would put rocks in it and stuff like that, and then lift those. So that's kind of what, that was my alternative. And then, like, I would do normal stretches and crunches and push-ups and stuff like that, because honestly, even the military, they don't use any really fancy equipment. They mainly stick to, like, you know, morning PT is pretty much like push-ups, crunches, and all this other stuff. So it's like you can be in pretty good shape without actually having to go to the gym. You just have to dedicate time in your schedule to, you know, actually pursue working out and going to the gym. Um, because binding is more than just like, oh, binding and then it'll be perfectly fine. Like, there's a lot of effort that has to go into binding to make it harmonious into passing, I guess, because that's why we bind. Like, we bind to pass and to be comfortable. So like, actually building a physique, which yes requires a lot of work and sometimes it requires patience, is actually very important. And that's actually almost exactly probably what the exercise is. Well, it has to do with being in the good physique. Um, and also on top of it is also appearance, how you hold yourself. A lot of guys have a tendency to like hunker down, and men don't usually do that. But you notice how when I hunker down, my shoulders also get smaller. But when I actually stand up straight, there's a huge difference. So it's like, it's how you sell yourself pretty much. Like, what your physical appearance is. If you're confident, your shoulders are broad, no one's really going to question it or care. They're not going to measure your bicep and say that your pectoral muscle is a little over large compared to your biceps, which even mine, like you could probably tell, I got like spaghetti arms. Or at least it looks that way because my shirt is huge. So it's really, just kind of selling and being safe. Don't be extreme or anything with binding. Go to Underworks, go to, I think it's like Binding Kingdom or all these other places. Buy one. Yeah, it's harder for people to afford it, but like, even me, I stuck with sports bras for a while. I used to wear 2 sports bras for a while, and that was kind of my method of binding. And I actually didn't know I was binding until probably later on, because I did that throughout middle school and high school and everything like that, because I was so uncomfortable, but I never knew, like, that's what it was binding. And, I'm kind of lucky, because I guess I was doing that, and I didn't realize it was, like, that it could be potentially unsafe, but then I was just like, oh, okay, that makes sense why I did that now, so, yep. This is Ray doing his video on when well, it's supposed to be on Wednesday, but it's actually Sunday today, so I'll try to be more fluent with my videos. So peace out.